Welcome to Nutrition by Jules. I'm Jules, bringing you all things wellness for your pregnancy and postpartum journey. Today we're going to be talking about postpartum nutrition and specifically about macronutrients. If you have not yet watched my #1 tip for postpartum nutrition, I suggest you check out that video first before watching this one on macronutrients. But in a nutshell, don't restrict your food. And this is going to go right along with that. So the 3 macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And when it comes to postpartum, we need all of these. We need them in a nice balance every single time we have a meal, ideally when we're snacking as well. So we need carbohydrates for energy. They are our direct energy source, going right into that system to help us fuel our mom bodies. Protein is there to help rebuild, repair tissue. So it's all about healing after giving birth. And those fats do a ton. First of all, they taste great, and that's a good thing because we want to be able to enjoy our food. They also help with hormone production and helping us to absorb various vitamins and minerals in our diet. So all 3 of these are very important to have. A general rule of thumb is when you are sitting down to have a meal, on your plate or your bowl or whatever food vessel you have, roughly 1/2 to 3/4 of your food on your plate should come from carbohydrate sources. That's actually quite a bit. So 50 to 75%. That other 1/4 to 1/2 should be filled with protein foods. There are a lot of carbohydrate foods that also have protein and vice versa. So that can feel a little bit confusing. But when we're just generally thinking about it, a mixed meal or not, when we look down at the plate, let's go over what foods might be there that are carbohydrates and what foods might be there that are proteins. So go to the store with your grocery list and make sure you have carbohydrate staples available so you can easily include these in your meals and snacks. So we're talking about crackers and breads and pastas and rice and starchy vegetables like potatoes and corn. Yes, all of these things are great, as well as our fruits and our vegetables and our berries, right? So these are all carbohydrate sources, and some of them get, a better name than others. Of course, we all know we should eat our fruits and vegetables, but sometimes we shy away from the breads and the pastas and the crackers and the cookies and the cereals. We need them both. So when we're looking at that plate, let's say we've got rice and vegetables making up 3/4 of our plate, or we've got oatmeal and berries, or we've got, lasagna with red sauce and a bunch of vegetables, right? In like a mixed dish. So those are our carbohydrate sources. Our proteins are coming from not just the typical eggs, fish, meat, poultry, seafood. Those are definitely high protein sources, but we're also getting them from, again, foods that also have carbohydrates. So milk and yogurt, fermented soybean products or soybean products in general like tempeh, beans and legumes like hummus and peanut butter. And we're getting them from our nuts and our seeds. And from a lesser extent, we're also getting proteins from our grains. So the rices and the pastas and the whole grain breads, and also cooked vegetables. So those are gonna provide you a little bit of protein as well. So it's not just black and white, but if we can get educated on foods with protein and with carbs and start thinking like, oh yeah, is this a balanced meal? Do I have enough carbs and enough proteins at this meal? That's the way we want to look at it, because again, we want the energy from the carbs and we want the healing repair for that protein. So the fats. So yes, these are very important. Please don't cut these out. Most of the time, your fats are going to be coming in combination with other foods as well, or drizzled on as a flavoring. So you're cooking with oils, and so therefore they're in your food, or you're eating a fish that also has fat in it, for instance. Other ways that you can get healthy fats into your diet would be to add avocado, cheese, nuts and seeds, pretty much any meal or snack. Purchase the full fat dairy products to get that extra fat content, or at least a minimum. Don't purchase the skim versions because you actually want that healthy fat in those full fat dairy products. Eat the whole egg, not just the egg white. There's good protein in that yolk in the middle. You can also drizzle oils on. I would just mention cooking with them, but drizzling them on for flavor on top of a meal is a great way to get healthy fats as well. The mackerels and salmons of the fish world are great fatty sources as well. Others tend to not have quite the same healthful fat profile. So again, all those things I mentioned also have carbs and proteins. So when you're looking at your plate and you're getting that 3/4, 1/4 ratio, half to 3/4 of carbohydrates again, and the 1/4 to 1/2 protein, the fat should be mixed in there as well. And if they're not, throw on an avocado, throw on an egg. Yes. So there you have it. Those are the macronutrients, and very briefly how we should look at them postpartum and why we need them all and why we should not restrict any of those macronutrients.